This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. And here we are, March the 24th, 2022. And there's one thing I'd tell you about podcasting. I'm not an expert at it. It's something I enjoy. It's a hobby at best. But I'll say this, it's always nice to have support and alliance with other podcasters. And the individual I've got on here tonight, I've had on once before, and he reached out to me. And he reached out to me again about an hour ago, and I asked if I wanted to have him come back on. I said, why not? Why not? I'm up for that. Folks, I give you Trey Olds. How do you do, Trey?
I'm fine, Greg. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. How are things in Mississippi, COVID-wise? Everything going better?
Yeah, a little better. A few places still require to wear masks, and which I do. I have to follow that, and yeah, it's doing well. Slowly getting back in order as it should be. Slowly getting back back to normal as we can.
Yeah. Well, I just this week, here we are Thursday. Monday I started a new job at the hospital here cleaning, and better money. Definitely more intense work, I'm definitely tired at the end of the day, and but it's always nice to still do this, and I feel I'm doing a very important job, and it's nice to kick back and enjoy doing this as well. How have you been since I've talked to you last? I know we're connected on Facebook. We don't talk a lot, but I haven't forgotten you. So how are things going with you?
Well, still busy, still interviewing, and still doing auditions for theater and independent films and voiceover work. Less or so these days. I've kind of slowed down just a little bit, but I'm still working and having fun.
What independent films of you are you part of?
I've done a few independent films with online things. It's like on YouTube, and I've done a few with Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Then I've done Pearl River Community College, which is in Poplarville, Mississippi, and done a few voiceover roles online, and for a gentleman in Indiana who has his own little company where he does voiceovers and hires everybody all over the world from time to time to do voiceovers. So I'm here and there.
Okay, all right. Well, I know last time we talked about your show, and I remember you said you had people like Emmett Walsh on the show and whatnot, and that was pretty cool. What are some notable guests you've had on since I spoke to you last?
Well, I've had quite a few big names. I've had Marion Ross, Ed Asner, Peter Marshall, Emmett Walsh, a gentleman named George Galfo. He's a singer and a musician. He's original band member of a doo-wop group called the Mystics, and a few other notable ones, and a few other maybe not so well known, but they have a story, and that's what I try to drive at.
You know what? That's very, very important that you try for the story. I'm going to tell you, I get more. It's always nice to have the bigger names when you can get them, but I'm going to tell you, the smaller names are those that aren't quite as recognized. Boy, do they ever appreciate having somebody say, "What's your story?" I've been interviewed a couple of times in the last short while, and to me, it's always like, why would somebody want to interview me? But it's always nice to have somebody say, I like what you're doing. I want to hear your story. And you know what they say about people? They like talking about themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you, for example, that cool shirt you got on.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, you got Ed Asner, and he just passed away not too long ago.
Mhm.
Talk about having him on the show. What was he like?
Well, I interviewed Ed twice, and the first time I interviewed him, we talked about his acting career and a few other things. He was president of the Screen Actors Guild in the late 80s, and then the second time I interviewed him, we just kind of went back, talked about that, but he was promoting his memoir, his book about his life and being in the entertainment industry, and we promoted that. And we became very good friends. We would check on each other and talk about different projects we were involved in. And yeah, he passed away. I think it was about a year ago or so. It doesn't seem that long, but yeah, I miss him terribly. He was a good friend and a great person to interview.
Yeah, I never had him on here, but that seems to be the story I'm hearing, that he was a good guy. So what is your process when you go? First off, I should ask, what is your show called again?
It's the Trey Olds Radio Show.
Okay, do you do it on radio, or is it just a podcast?
It's on podcasting. It's on YouTube and iTunes, Spotify, Anchor FM, Facebook Live, all over a podcast. Wherever you can find a podcast, it's on there.
You got a sizable audience?
Yeah, I have over 11,000 views on YouTube. I have over 5,000 views on Spreaker podcasts, a few thousand listeners on Apple iTunes. Yeah, it's pretty much scattered everywhere, but yeah, pretty good size, I guess.
See, you're doing better than me. There you go. What is your approach when it comes to how do you decide? Do you decide before you go after a guest, or is it something that you just stumble upon somebody? Like, how do you pick who you interview?
Well, a little bit of both, actually. I stumble upon different names because I work with a lot of talent agencies in New York and LA and a few in Canada, in England, and they pitch me names and see if they would be a good interview. And then on the other hand, I find people that I do my own research and I find them. So it's a little bit of both, and I contact them directly, or sometimes you have to contact their manager or talent agent, and you go that way and set up an interview there.
So who have you gotten on your own without the agencies?
Well, I've gotten Ed Asner on my own. I found him on social media because his daughter, Liza Asner, she is his manager. She handled all of his interviews and all of his public relations and all that. And I contacted her, and she told Ed about me, and we set it up that way.
Yeah, it's always nice when they have family that is willing to connect and whatnot, so yep. Yep. So is there anybody that you've gone after that didn't work out, that you want to give any examples of?
Yeah, a few. And I tell everybody who's in interviewing podcasts, you can't get everybody. I've tried to get a few people, big names. I've tried to get Dustin Hoffman, and I've tried to get Betty White, and a few others, but they declined, and it didn't work out. But they said, try again next year or next time, and we'll see if something happens. And a few times I did get a few people like that. I tried again, but if you don't get the person, oh well, it's nothing personal. It's just the business.
Yeah. Or unless you get somebody that you get them on the phone, they say they're so-and-so's cousin. And then, I've had that incident once, which was a little unprofessional and awkward, but nonetheless. So, where was I going to go from that? What would you say is the most rewarding part about doing your show?
Well, most rewarding, I guess, is the listeners, the people listening. Their feedback is always important, and I'm very honored, very grateful to have a good amount of listeners. And some of them I've became good friends with. And they've themselves pitched me ideas about who I should interview, and help me along the way. I tell people, the fans can make you or break you, and it's best for them to make you.
So, who have they been pitching at you, and have you had success with any of those individuals?
Yes, I've had a few. I have one upcoming interview with a well-known actress, Dee Wallace, and
Oh yeah, I've had her on here twice.
Yeah, pitched me her, and I reached out to her agent, and I've worked with her agent before because he's managed other people I've interviewed, and we have that set up in May 4th, and so yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've had Dee Wallace on twice, and she was in 13 Fanboy, which I'm a co-producer on. But I met her at Horrorama 2018, so I got her to sign my Blu-rays for E.T. and The Howling. Did you ever meet her?
Never met her, no.
Did you ever do the cons?
No, I've never been to a Comic-Con or anything like that. I've been invited to go to one. It was in Mississippi, believe it or not. It was in Columbia, Mississippi, and I didn't go. They invited me to be like a press agent, an interviewer, and I didn't do it. I think at that time I had other projects going on, and I wasn't able to make it. But I have friends that go to it, and they enjoy it. I may go to one eventually, but you never know.
Oh wow, I was wondering what kept you from going. Yeah, because I've done 3 Horror-Ramas, 1 Toronto Comic Con, and I've done 1 Frightmare in the Falls, and I always have a blast.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah. So you've never been to one ever?
Never been to one. Nope.
Oh, you're missing out. Well, one of my guests actually invited me to my first one, so that was kind of where I got the bug for them, and I'm hoping to do 2 of them this October. So a little while away yet. So, what kind of actually, here's where I'm going to go with this. I'll go into a question about your viewers or your audience, but I'm going to go into it, steer this a little differently. Do you get many trolls? And if you do, how do you handle them?
Well, I've been fortunate enough in my career where I haven't had a lot of hate mail or negativity. I've had one or two a few times, but you can't please everyone in the world. You just I've had one. I go at it in a nice way. Tell them, well, that's just your opinion, or that's how you feel. I can't change how you feel, but have a nice day. I don't wish no ill will to anybody.
So, out of all the interviews you've done, which one has got the most views?
The ones that's got the most views is one I interviewed a voice actress and an actress named Linda Kenyon, and she did voice roles for a few video games called The Elder Scrolls Morrowind and The Elder Scrolls Oblivion. And everyone just seemed to like that interview. I've had comments just come still to this day. I've interviewed her twice, and this was probably in 2016 and then again in 2019. People just go to that interview and leave all kinds of wonderful comments. So I don't know what it is with that particular one, but people seem to enjoy it, and I'm grateful for it.
It's interesting because I don't know who this person is, so I'm very intrigued. And it's always interesting what your audience gravitates towards. Like right now, my interview with the most views is Vincent Castellanos from Anaconda, and he might have been the smallest name actor in the entire film, but that one there, a lot of people listen to it, and it's like I think it's terrific, but it baffles me because sometimes you'll get bigger name performers that you expect are going to skyrocket, and maybe it's because so many people have interviewed some of these people that they kind of get lost to it, so you kind of lose out. So then you get somebody that not so many people hear about. That's where you get a lot of views. I've done 5 tributes on Zoe Tamerlis Lund from Miss 45, and those are popular. So where I've had her widow come on and talk about her. So I've had stuff like that, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's interesting. The smaller names, I guess, because the smaller names are never really talked about or interviewed quite a lot. They
Mhm.
go towards, I guess the bigger names have been interviewed a long time, and I guess they're used to that story.
So what kind of response do you get from people you've interviewed? Do you get any feedback from them?
Yeah, I get a few feedbacks from people I've interviewed. They stay in touch, and they a lot of them ask if the interview was well received, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it. I tell them, yeah, it's gotten a lot of views and people comment on it, and they seem to be happy that their fans listen on a different platform or listen when they're doing something. So yeah, I get a good feedback.
So typical, how do you prepare for your podcast? What's your typical scene?
Well, I usually do. I used to do 3 interviews a week, and
Mhm.
I'm trying to get back to that kind of interviews because I kind of slowed down a bit because I was doing other projects for theater and voiceover work. But now nothing in theater or voiceover has come my way, so I'm starting back interviews. So I do one on Monday, one on Wednesday, one on Friday, and then sometimes I may have one on Saturday or Sunday. And it it's an interesting day. I wake up around 9 o'clock, 9:30, and I some particular days I look at my email and there's emails saying interview requests and interview recipients and participants, and so I go along these emails and schedule interviews for and I try to schedule interviews like for a month ahead. I have a whole bunch scheduled for April, and I have a few scheduled for May already. So yeah, I'm quite busy, but I love doing what I do.
You mind telling us who you got scheduled?
Yeah.
Anybody really anticipating?
Yeah, I mentioned Dee Wallace in
Mhm.
May 4th, and then I have a few others in April. These actors are in the United Kingdom. I have Michael Lippman, Christian Reed, Douglas Sanfilippo, uh, Naren Oz, quite a few others, and which a lot of people seem to be liking. I kind of switched gears to British actors because I guess they're not very well known in America, but people seem to like it, and I'm enjoying it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, what advice do you have for people that go into podcasting?
Well, I would tell them most importantly is know what you're getting into. You know, this business is not for everybody. Learn what you're getting into. Take a class or find an acting coach or a voiceover mentor or radio mentor. Learn what all you can. You know, even if you're just doing podcasts, learn about acting, learn about uh, radio, voiceover, narration, because that experience will come into play when you're doing interviews with people who are in that business.
Hmm. You got any charities or anything of that sort that you want to plug and promote on here?
Well, I am involved virtually with a few nonprofit organizations on Facebook. Autism Speak, Heroes for Autism,
Hmm.
uh, uh, Gulf Coast Community Actors Association,
Hmm.
uh, just a few organizations I've involved with, you know.
That's excellent. Excellent. So where can people reach you? Like plug where your podcast can be seen, and if you got a web page or something of that sort, feel free to plug it on here.
Okay, I don't have an official website. I have Facebook. It's Trey Olds, and then I have the Facebook page, the Trey Olds Radio Show, and then you can find it on YouTube. Just type in Trey Olds or Trey Olds Radio, and you can find it on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor FM, Podbeam, uh, all over. And I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram, Trey Olds, Twitter, Trey Olds. I'm pretty much everywhere where you can find me.
Well, you know what? It was wonderful having you come on here again. Thanks for reaching out to me, and it was great to hear from you. I know uh, we haven't talked a lot, but I always put your interview up for its anniversary every year, and I appreciate the fact you reached out to me again and asked to come back on. It makes
Well,
me feel appreciated.
well, thank you. It's been a pleasure. I wish you well with your show and your future endeavors. And thank you for having me again.
Oh, it's always nice to have you. It's always nice to have you. I appreciate it. Well, anything else you want to promote or tag on here before we close off?
No, I would just say to everyone, thank you for listening. And I always tell people, if you have a dream, if you have have a passion, pursue it. Let no one stop you, and be you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Trey Olds has done just that. Yes, listen to Trey Olds on his YouTube channel, listening to him on all of these podcast platforms where you could hear his show, Trey Olds Radio. That's what you call it, Trey Olds Radio.
The Trey Olds Radio Show. Yes.
Trey Olds Radio Show. Trey Olds, thank you so much for being my guest tonight. God bless you, and keep doing what you're doing. You're definitely doing something right. I don't even have the views you have, so I envy you. But you know what? You're a very polite individual. You've got a lot of sensibility to you. I would say you're going to do well, and people are going to gravitate to you because you're a gentleman.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. God bless you, and best of luck in your future. I'm sure you'll do great.
Thank you. You too.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.